What is going on YouTube? Joe here with Color Nation Media, bringing you yet another Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle today against Fitz, a subscriber/follower on Twitter, and I believe it's pronounced Fitz. I mean, there's a 1 in there, and that kind of threw me off, to be honest. But if I butchered that, I'm sorry, but I feel like it's pretty straightforward. Anyway, that's enough of that. Today we have an RU match, and like I said, our opponent Fitz, sitting here with his cute little hat. His Twitter link will be in the description below for you guys in case you want to battle him or talk to him or whatever you crazy kids do these days. Before we get into the teams though, just want to remind you guys that as long as this video reaches that magical number of 60 likes, I will continue to bring you these lovely daily double Wi-Fi battle uploads and all of that fun stuff. And speaking of fun stuff, we have some fun Pokemon because RU is a fun tier. I don't know if you guys are into the current RU meta. This isn't incredibly current, so some of these may not even be in RU. This is just from 5th gen. But for a while, Kyurem was running around in RU, and that was just absolutely ridiculous. I think he's in BL2 now. And Cresselia is running around still in RU, and I don't understand why that's acceptable. For those of you that use Cresselia in RU, please stop. No one wants to face that. Just saying. Alright, and now that I got that out of the way, calm down a little bit. I'm getting too salty and the match hasn't even started yet. So we have some fun teams here. My opponent's got that very annoying Regenerator Core with Slowking and Tangrowth. That's going to be quite difficult to break, but I do have something up my sleeve for that. He's got the Cacturn, which is very dangerous. On the physical side, it's very similar to how I run my Shiftry with the Swords Dance, Focus Sash, that kind of stuff. And it's got priority and Sucker Punch with, that stab as well. Just does so much damage. The Amistar is very predictable. They almost always will run the Shell Smash set with White Herb, and even though it's very predictable, it's still very difficult to stop once it gets going, so that is going to be a little bit of a problem to handle. Typhlosion is usually choiced in some way. More often than not, it's going to be Choice Scarf, but it could be Choice Specs. We don't know for sure. And Swellow is undoubtedly going to be Flame Orb Guts. That's what they all run. On my side, I've got the normal gym, Fake Out, Unburden, Hitmonlee, Life Orb, Sheer Force, Tauros with 4 attacks, Assault Vest, Gigalith, and then that's going to be kind of like my physical wall. I don't really have a physical wall, to be honest, but I do have a special wall, and that's going to be my Cryogonal. It also has the Rapid Spin, although it doesn't look like anything on my opponent's team has the rocks or spikes or anything like that. But the Tangrowth could potentially have Leech Seed, so that could be something that I could use it for. Got the Dragon Dance Lumberry for Alligator with Aqua Jet, which, looking at his team, priority could be a good thing to have, especially for Typhlosion if it's Scarfed. And it's also going to deal some decent neutral damage to Amistar, so that is good. And then I've got the Rotom Mow, which is just your typical choiced set with Trick and Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, and Leaf Storm. So let's get into the battle. Fitz is issuing a challenge, and he's going to start off with his Tangrowth. So just starting right off the bat with the Regenerator stuff. And basically, what they do is they just switch back and forth between Slowking and, or not Slowking, but just between the Regenerator cores as necessary. And it's difficult to break sometimes. Anyway, Tangrowth cannot stay in here on Rotom Mow because he does not want to take a special attack, and he can't hit me with Sleep Powder or Leech Seed, so he goes into his Typhlosion, and it takes a lot of damage from Volt Switch. And I'm going to try to kill him here with an Aqua Jet as I switch into my Feraligatr, but somehow this Fiery Fire survives. Aqua Jet did pretty much the same amount of damage that Volt Switch did. That's absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. So he hits me up with an extra sensory, which does some decent damage, and now he's going to switch out to preserve this Typhlosion, which is a good play on his part. I would too, especially if it's Scarf, because it's a great thing to start revenging things with. Even though he can't go for Eruption, he can hit me with a Fire Blast or Focus Blast or whatever he wants to do. So he switches into Tangrowth to take that Aqua Jet, and I get hit by the Rocky Helmet. In comes Cryogonal to take the Giga Drain. And he takes that very, very nicely. It only does about like 31 HP worth of damage. And I know Tangrowth isn't invested in special attack or anything, but still he cannot really touch me. And I really thought he might try to put me to sleep there, but he can't risk getting hit with an Ice Beam. So he's going to switch out into the Slowking, which is his best play. And he's going to absorb that Ice Beam very, very nicely. The Tangrowth is going to be back to full health due to the regenerator. And this is where it gets a little bit annoying, because if you can't take out one of them, he can just constantly switch back and forth and constantly get their health back. So you need to find a way to break at least one of them to prevent that from happening. So what I'm going to do here is go into my Assault Vest Gigalith. I know I can survive a couple of hits from this thing, especially a Psyshock. That's not going to do that much damage at all. Only does about, like, what is that, 37 HP, which is nothing. And like I said, I am Assault Vest, so I know I can take another hit, even if he wants to go for a Scald. Uninvested Scald's not going to kill Gigalith with an Assault Vest, so I'm just going to go straight for the Explosion and just kill this thing right off the bat, get it out of here. I will gladly trade my Gigalith for his Slowking. I know I have 4 physical attackers on my side and only 2 special attackers, so it would have been more beneficial to take out the Tangrowth. But getting rid of that Regenerator Core is very, very important for me to be able to get an edge in this battle. So that was my thought process there. So I'm going to bring out my Feraligatr, and that did not work out very well, because he's going to go straight into his Tangrowth. And I predicted a Leech Seed or a Sleep Powder going into Rotom-Mow, and he does go for the Leech Seed. So that allows me to go for a Volt Switch. And Tangrowth really doesn't take that too well. Well, I don't know. I guess he does. That's not really that much damage. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know. So he's going to go for the Leech Seed again, predicting a Volt Switch, which is a good play on his part. And he's going to Seed my Cryogonal, which is unfortunate. I'm pretty sure he's going to switch out here, though, because if I just go for an Ice Beam, I might just be able to knock him out. Even with the Leech Seed recovery, it could be close, because Tangrowth has very bad special defense. So he's going to switch out here, and that's perfect, because in comes the Fiery Fire, and I'm going to go straight for the Rapid Spin, get rid of those seeds. And I almost, so close to getting a Rapid Spin kill. I don't know, that would have been perfect. Would have been perfect, I was really hoping that I would. But he's just going to stay in here, go for the Flamethrower, and that does so much damage. It does so much damage, that thing has to be Specs. Has to be Specs. I just really don't think that it should be doing that much damage, because I am completely specially defensive, calm nature, and, you know, all of that stuff. 252 in HP and special defense. There's no way it should be doing that much damage other than Specs. So, yeah, I'm almost dead, and there's no reason for me to keep this thing alive at this point. He's just going to come in with the Swellow and get the Facade off, kill me, and he's going to get his Flame Orb off safely as well. So that is just a huge problem for me. But I'm going to bring in my Rotom-Mow here, because I'm Scarfed, and that's really my only option to hit this thing with a Volt Switch or Thunderbolt. And in comes the Tangrowth again. And I really needed Cryogonal to be alive, but I couldn't afford to switch out and have something else take a hit from Swellow. So that's just what it is. I'm going to go into Tauros here. And Tauros is a great wall breaker, even against something as powerful and thick on the defensive side as Tangrowth is. As you can see, Rock Climb does a lot of damage to this thing. He's going to go for the knockoff here and get rid of my Life Orb, so that's unfortunate. That's going to make it so that this Rock Climb is not going to kill, and he can very easily just switch out now and preserve this thing. But what he's going to do is go for the Leech Seed, and that is, I guess, kind of bad. He's going to get some HP back, and, you know, switching out for me at this point is a little bit of an issue. Don't really want to do that, because I've taken a lot of damage on my team. I kind of need to deal as much damage as possible. So he's going to go into Lord Helix to take the Rock Climb, and he's going to take that pretty well. Pretty well. I don't have my Life Orb, so I'm not, you know, getting that increased damage, and he's going to get Leech Seed recovery. So when all is said and done, he really didn't take that much damage at all. I'm going to go for an Earthquake here, kind of as a last-ditch effort to just deal some damage. And I get a crit. So the Hax Gods were smiling on me here. That is really unfortunate for my opponent, because I did calc that, and that was not going to be a KO. He was definitely going to live that. And he would have been able to get a Shell Smash off or something, and it just could have been really bad on my side. So I'm sorry about that. In comes the Cacturn. Gonna go for that Swords Dance. And yeah, that is unfortunate for me. Do not want this thing to continue to get up all of these boosts. And he's going to get the leech seed recovery, hit me up with a sucker punch. If he has a focus sash, it's broken at this point. So that's good. Tauros did some amazing work, so I'm not at all upset with the fact that he went down. And I'm going to bring in Hitmonlee here, go for the fake outs, and get that normal gem boost, get my Unburden up. And the one thing that I had to justify the Amistar getting critted was I believe Hitmonlee outspeeds Amistar. I could be incorrect about that. Look how much damage that Sucker Punch does, by the way. So much damage. So I go for the Stone Edge here. That's going to get rid of Cacturn. But what I was saying was that I believe I could have just brought Hitmonlee in and then did the fake out Unburden thing and would have been able to knock out the Amistar. So I don't think the crit mattered too much. If Hitmonlee does not outspeed Amistar, then that whole thing is just moot. But I did not check that. Anyway, went for the close combat here on this Tangrowth as he came in. I really thought I might be able to kill it, but it's just too incredibly bulky. And I go down to the Rocky Helmet damage. So that is a bit unfortunate. And in comes the Rotom Mow. Gonna go for the Volt Switch here because I'm pretty sure that should kill, and it does. So finally, Tangrowth is out of the way. It took, I don't know, how many turns are we into this battle? 23. It took 23 turns. And Tangrowth was in for like half of them. And finally, it goes down. In comes Tweety, which is his Swellow, and this thing is so dangerous. So dangerous. But as long as I have Rotom, I'm okay because I will outspeed with the Choice Scarf. He's going to go for the Facade here as I go for an Aqua Jet with my Feraligatr. That's going to knock me out. And that is kind of bad. Kind of bad. But that being said, that's all it comes down to here is Rotom is going to come in and outspeed, hit him with a Thunderbolt, and he's already at 50% health due to burn damage and Aqua Jets and that kind of stuff. So there's no way he's going to be able to take that. So that is going to be I believe, a 1-0 in my favor. Looking at my team here, yeah, it looks like everyone else died. Hitmonlee, Tauros, Gigalith, Cragdoll, yep. Everybody on my team died except for Rotom. So it was indeed a 1-0, very close match. Like I mentioned earlier, that crit on Amistar could potentially have mattered, but it was just, I don't know, it was a close match all the way around. Thankfully, the hacks didn't just absolutely destroy the match. That would have been bad. That would have been bad indeed. But that's going to be it for this time, guys. So thank you very much for watching, as always, and thank you for the battle, Fitz. I'm sure we will do it again sometime. I think you were actually asking me for a battle today, but I had so many other people that had asked from days before today that I was trying to get to, so I'm sure we'll have a rematch at some point, and it'll be a lot of fun. If it's anything like this battle, it will be just a close one and just really enjoyable. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, that's it for this time, so thank you for watching, and I will see you for the next battle, but until then, game on.